Hey Crestwood, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you all are doing well, having a great day as we move into this season of April. Certainly pray that you are safe as we get ready for the storms that are about to hit us. Sounds like it's going to be pretty serious, so prayers for us, prayers for all those who are in the path of those storms. Just pray for safety as we endure that. I'm so glad to be with you this morning and glad to bring you this devotional for Wednesday, April 2nd. So I'm thinking about identity. So in a few days, Amy and I will fly to Copenhagen, Denmark to see Molly as she is studying abroad there this semester and spend about 5 days in that city. Never been to Copenhagen, have no idea what to expect. It's going to be really interesting being the minority in another place, being an American in Denmark, and all that may go with how we are received and how we are treated. I'm excited about it, but it's going to be really interesting to step outside of myself, to step outside of what is so familiar to me here in Lexington, and to be in a place where nothing is familiar. The transportation systems, some of the language that's going to be spoken, the landmarks, all that. Thankfully, I think the pastries will look familiar. I'm going to make sure I familiarize myself with them, but everything else is going to be different. So it's going to be interesting to sort of step outside of myself and see how others perceive me. I had that conversation yesterday with my spiritual director. We were talking about that, and I was talking about how sometimes when I have a good idea or I know something is the right thing to do, I'll put on blinders and we'll just sort of forge ahead, and I won't see the people around me and how they are reacting to what I'm doing, how they're perceiving it, how they may have input on it. And she challenged me to think about what would it look like to take those blinders off, to step back from the focus of where I'm going and to see myself through others' eyes. Because sometimes it's so easy to get focused on what you know is right, to get focused on what's so comfortable and familiar for you, that you don't step outside yourself. Jesus, I think, wrestles with this when he talks with the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the religious leaders of the day, the keepers of the law, and they were so focused on their task of keeping the law that they sometimes didn't look at the bigger picture. They're the ones who criticize Jesus for plucking grain on the Sabbath or for healing someone. And Jesus is like, look, I know the law says you're not supposed to work on the Sabbath, but this guy's hand was withered and I was able to heal it. So what's more important, keeping the law, keeping that focus, or stepping back and looking at the bigger picture? I think looking at that bigger picture is one of the things that challenges us as humans and as Americans today, to step back and see the implications of our actions, our behaviors, our beliefs, how they impact others for the good or for the negative. I think that's one of the challenges that was posed to us in the wake of the George Floyd murder and the systemic racism that sort of came to light. Stepping back and looking at how are we complicit in that, even though we're not actively participating in it. Sometimes just the ways that we have been brought up that are so ingrained in us can contribute to a system that is harmful or oppressive to others. And so constantly trying to step back and see what is my role in who I am and how others see me, and most especially, what is my role in making God's kingdom real here on earth? You know, God has challenged each of us to do our part to share God's light in this world, to make God's kingdom real here on earth. And every day we have the opportunity to do that. We have the opportunity to impede the coming of that kingdom, or we have the opportunity to pave the way for the coming of that kingdom. And so I'm going to be really interested this next week in Copenhagen to really step outside of myself and look at how others might see us, but also to let myself be in an unfamiliar place, to experience not only maybe the discomfort or the awkwardness of that, but also to just be in a mind of curiosity and wonder of what can I learn when I'm not in a familiar place, when I'm not around familiar people. I think so much of our faith is about asking those kind of questions, being willing to experience those kind of doubts, those kind of liminal spaces, and then stepping forward into whatever it is that God has for us. I can't wait to see what God's going to show us as we spend this time in another country. I can't wait to see what God's going to show us as we as a church continue in the faithful planning process and ask questions about who we are and who God is calling us to be. And Crestwood, today I want to encourage you, how are you putting yourself in unfamiliar places? How are you stepping outside of yourself to see how others perceive you, or to see how you are contributing to what's going on around you for good or for bad? How are you taking the blinders off and letting your focus move from just what's in front of you to what's around you? Because I believe God has such amazing things to show us if we're willing to be still, to step back, and to look through God's eyes, not only through our own eyes, at what is around us. Crestwood, I believe God has something to show you today. I hope you're looking for it. God bless you, Crestwood.